What's up, you guys? Today I want to give you my playbook on how I'm tackling the ever-approaching preseason hype cycle. If you've been in the hobby for a while, then you've experienced this and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Believe me when I say I've made every single mistake that you could possibly make, and in today's video we're going through the lessons I've learned and the players that I expect will have some hype going into the season. So let's get into it. Prices are on the rise, but I don't think that it's too late if you take action now. I'm laying out the simple steps that I'm going through. And yes, I am packaging and shipping out cards while I go through this because I don't have any other time. So we got to multitask. Last year was a pivotal learning lesson for me. I think like 4 out of 5 players that I had projected having a lot of hype going into the season did have a lot of hype, and their prices shot up just like I thought they would. The problem is I didn't move the way I should have, and I did not capitalize on that really at all. I don't know if I just thought that prices would shoot up forever, but a couple of those main players were like Anthony Richardson and Rashee Rice. I was right on both. If you looked at what sales were doing, I had Anthony Richardson cards that I was into for 10 to 15 bucks, and they were selling for 60 to 75. That's like about as good as it gets if you're trying to flip sports cards to build a collection. Thinking back on that, I just feel like Matthew McConaughey and Interstellar, just my heart. And I'll be clear, like I wasn't thinking last year that Anthony Richardson was this generational quarterback talent, but I knew that there would be people that did think that, and they'd be really excited to buy his cards, and they'd value them a lot more than I did. You know, and it really makes a lot of sense because he had some really strong games as a rookie, especially from a fantasy football perspective, and he missed most of his rookie year because of injury. I wonder if there's anybody else going into this next year that's like that. There is. There is. So yeah, I'm going to finish packaging up these slabs. Goodbye, Jaden Daniels. And then we'll go through the players that I think will see the most hype going into this next season. If you're new here, my name's Connor. This is Cards and Canvas, and it's just a channel where I show off what I'm doing to scale my card and art business. One sec. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. It's been working really well. Hi, Sadie. Let's get these shipped out. Here's some of the cooler stuff I got. We got a CJ Stroud Pink Prism rookie, PSA 9. Centering looks really good on it though. And then a Bo Nix Silver Prism on the Near Mint 7. We'll see if there's anything especially wrong with this. It looks super off center top to bottom, but nothing else is too offensive. Matthew Stafford Orange Wave out of 60. CJ Stroud on the Purple Shock. Adonai Mitchell out of 75. He's kind of a sleeper. He has some good routes. Malik Neighbors All Etch out of 75. Jordan Love, Prism Deca, Orange out of 49. Bryce Young on about as color match as it gets with Carolina. Rookie Select Premier out of 99. You know, fitting for the video, I think with Tetero McMillan, he finally gets a weapon. There's going to be some hype going in for Bryce Young. Xavier Worthy on the Pandora. And then Puka out of 249. Some cool stuff, nothing too crazy. Let's get back to the video. All right, we're going to start from the positions that are the most volatile or the least relevant to the hobby. Going from tight end to running back to wide receiver to quarterback. Defense counts. It's kind of up with tight end. If you have a franchise guy like Travis Kelce or Gronkowski, people are going to love collecting them, but it's really hard for people to get past the threshold to that point. So this is what we're working with today. So for tight end, we got Trey McBride. I think there's going to be a lot of hype in terms of fantasy football. He had a good season last year. A lot of production, just not for receiving touchdowns. I think he regresses back to the mean. I think people are going to expect him to do that, and he's going to be scoring more. He's going to have more opportunities. They're going to be clicking with Marv more. The Cardinals are making good moves overall. He's probably the best candidate to compete with like Brock Bowers, Kelce, all those guys for top wide receiver status. Moving on, we're going running back. And no, it's not Bijan Robinson. No, it's not Jahmyr Gibbs. Those guys are already hyped. We're talking about Devon A-Chain. Absolutely love Devon A-Chain. I don't know why people aren't excited about him. He was RB5 last year, tons of production. He has explosive plays. Everything you want as a football fan, Devon A-Chain is that guy. However, running back is a volatile position. People don't view him as sturdy, but his prices are way below Gibbs and Robinson, but his production is on the same level, if not surpass. So I think people are going to be excited going into next season for this guy right here. Next, wide receiver. We're going JSN. This guy's a dog. We got a nice little bronze mojo out of 35. I think that Jackson had the sneakiest top 10 season I've ever seen at wide receiver. It wasn't sexy, but it was effective. He had Geno Smith at quarterback. Sam Darnold just proved that he was good enough. He just got Justin Jefferson to wide receiver 2 last year. So we're going to see how this year plays out. I'm not saying Jackson Smith and Jigba is Justin Jefferson, but the Seahawks fans are going to be super excited about his potential. We're getting him an upgrade at quarterback, I would say. I think people are going to be picking up his cards going into next season, paying up a little bit. The market's going to move. So finally, we're going to talk about quarterback. If you guys have been watching the channel, you know who I'm going to put here. I don't think you can miss at quarterback, barring injury or something like Watson, just a freak thing you couldn't predict. Oh no, they're a bad person. If there's a team that you really like the moves, they built up the line, they got some weapons, or they had a battered up team with a bunch of injuries, and this year they're looking healthy and they're going to maybe they're going to be a bit more of a Super Bowl contender with some improved play. People are going to be excited about that. Any quarterback benefits from that type of hype going into the preseason, but my big guy right now is CJ Stroud. You saw it coming. People are way oversold on him. I'm not sure why all of a sudden people are down. So I'm holding on to stuff like this. Pedigree case hit out of Origins. You can get stuff like this pretty dang cheap, especially compared to what it was going for just 12 months ago. I think people were really distracted by the new shiny object that Jaden Daniels is. But this guy right here, people are going to be excited about him. Part of the reason I think that is the case is I don't see Jackson Dart and Cam Ward having the same demand that Daniels and Stroud drove as rookies, and that's playing a bit of a role. People are going to be coming back to some of these older guys. These are just a few of the players and a little bit of my thought process on why I'm buying. These are not the only guys I'm buying. I'm looking at Bryce Young. He's getting weapons. I'm looking at Jordan Love. The Packers have a huge fan base. You get a short printed card out of 49 and a collectible set like Prism. I'm looking at Xavier Worthy. I'm a Chiefs guy. Second-year wide receivers always overperform. Andy Reid's never had a 1,000-yard rookie at wide receiver. So, Puka Nacua, people are excited about Devontae Adams, but what if he's wide receiver 1? Things will turn around quick. There's a million different options, and I think that my thought process is pretty sound. Who are you guys buying? Do you have any counterpoints to the guys that I'm excited about? I'd love to hear it. Drop it down in the comments. Yeah, maybe you guys think I'm an absolute buffoon and that I'm making all the wrong moves, and that's okay. Let me hear it. If you enjoyed the discussion that I'm trying to drive, or you found any of the tips helpful, please consider subscribing. We just blew past 1,000, which is absolutely insane. So I appreciate all the support, and I hope you consider it, because apparently asking is what a good YouTuber does to drive more subscriptions. We've had a lot going on, but still trying to turn these out. I think next time I'm going to go into why I think comps are ruining the hobby, and they're kind of manipulating people that are holding, buying, selling cards. I don't know if you guys will be interested in that, but I think there's some hard truths that people in the hobby need to hear. So besides that, that's all I know. Thanks for letting me talk your ear off. See ya.